What was there was anything? Before the stars, before space, before time itself. It's maybe the biggest question we've ever asked, and today we're going on a journey to the very edge of what we know to try and find an answer. Our story starts with this number. It's a 1 with 120 zeros after it, and it represents the incredible, mind-boggling precision of the force that kicked off the Big Bang. To put that in perspective, if this number was off by even a single digit, the universe as we know it just wouldn't exist. None of us would be here. So this unbelievable fine-tuning, you see it everywhere, from the strength of gravity to the energy of that first moment, it forces us to ask a really profound question. Is all of this just one big, lucky accident, or was it all meticulously designed? All right, let's start digging for clues. The first piece of evidence in our cosmic detective story is the fact that our entire universe is balanced on a razor's edge. Think about it like this. Imagine you're driving a car. If you slam the accelerator to the floor, you're going to crash. But if you're too gentle, you're not going anywhere. Well, the force behind the Big Bang was kind of like that. A little too much power and all the matter would have just flown apart, way too fast for stars and galaxies to ever form. Too little power, and gravity would have won, crushing the entire universe back in on itself before it even got started. So what did it take to build this perfectly balanced cosmos of ours? Well, the legendary physicist Stephen Hawking boiled it all down to just three basic ingredients. You need matter, the physical stuff. You need energy, the power that makes everything go. And you need a whole lot of space. Okay, but that just kicks the can down the road, right? It just pushes the mystery back a step. Where did all that matter, energy, and space even come from in the first place? To find an answer, we have to look for clues. And believe it or not, one of the biggest clues is staring us right in the face every single night, and we almost never think about it. Yeah, I know. It sounds like a ridiculously simple question, right? The sun's down, duh. But for centuries, this was a massive puzzle for scientists and philosophers. It's a famous paradox known as Olber's paradox. Okay. So stick with me here. If the universe was infinitely old and infinitely big, then no matter where you looked up, your line of sight would eventually hit a star, right? Well, if that was true, the light from all those infinite stars would have had infinite time to reach us, and the night sky would be absolutely blazing with light, as bright as the sun. The simple, observable fact that it's dark is profound proof that the universe isn't eternal. It had a beginning. So let's take that journey. Let's rewind the clock. We're going to fly right past the dinosaurs, past the time when all the continents were one giant supercontinent, past a molten volcanic Earth, all the way back 13.8 billion years to a single solitary moment. Our trip ends here, at a point that science calls the singularity. It's a state so extreme that our minds can barely even handle the concept. Imagine all the matter, all the energy, all of space, and even time itself, all compressed into one single, infinitely hot, infinitely dense point. As the Nobel laureate Roger Penrose said, this is basically where science hits a brick wall. All of our equations, all of our known laws of physics, they just break down. They stop working. We can describe what happened a fraction of a second after the Big Bang, but at that exact moment of the singularity, we're completely blind. Stephen Hawking came up with a brilliant analogy for this. He said asking what came before the Big Bang is like asking what's south of the South Pole. I mean, if you're standing right on the South Pole, there is no south. Every single direction is north. The concept of south becomes totally meaningless. Well, in the same way, since time itself began with the Big Bang, the concept of before is also meaningless. You can't have a before when time literally doesn't exist yet. So our scientific journey takes us right to the very edge of existence, and then it stops. It just can't go any further. But what if the answer we're all looking for? What if it comes from an entirely different direction? More than 1,400 years ago, in the deserts of Arabia, a group of travelers apparently journeyed for weeks just to ask the Prophet Muhammad the exact same question that stumps physicists today. What was there at the very beginning of everything? And this was the answer they received. A statement of just profound simplicity. Before anything we could possibly know or imagine existed, there was God and absolutely nothing else. Now, this is the crucial part, really understanding what nothing means here. Our minds immediately jump to an empty, dark, silent void. But think about it. Empty space is still a thing. Darkness is just the absence of created light. Silence is just the absence of created sound. Even the word before depends on time, which is also a created thing. So this is talking about an absolute nothingness, a state our minds can't truly picture because every single frame of reference we have is part of creation. The logic here is based on a classic principle from philosophy, ex nihilo nihil fit. It basically means out of nothing, nothing comes. You can't get an entire universe from true absolute nothingness. So given that the universe does exist, something must have always existed. Something has to be eternal and uncaused. And this eternal uncaused cause is identified as al-awwal, or the first. It's one of the names of God in Islam. It doesn't mean first in a sequence, like in a line. It means first as in the ultimate necessary origin of everything, whose existence doesn't depend on anything else at all. So from that state of being alone, God willed for creation to finally exist. And the very first thing that was brought into being was the pen, a powerful symbol. It was commanded to write. And the pen asked, "What shall I write?" The command came back, "Write everything that will be, from this first moment until the very end of time." Answering one huge question just seems to lead to another one. We started out asking what came before the beginning, and we've journeyed from cosmic fine-tuning all the way to an uncaused first cause. But if the entire cosmic story, including every single choice you and I make, was all written down before time even began, what does that mean for our freedom to choose? It's a fascinating, massive paradox, and it's exactly what we're going to explore in our next explainer.